Yo, what up? Welcome back to the Corrective Culture Podcast. This was a duo episode today, sponsored by King and Queen. Fuck, that sounded pro.
We went over our goals for 2025, bit of stuff we've been learning lately. Yeah, the intentions for the year, that last year too, I think.
Yeah, talked about some deep shit, got deep into relational kind of bestiality. Nah. We got over talking about like the masculine and feminine energy and how to balance it out.
Yeah.
I feel as a really, I always love these.
Yeah.
Whenever we do them, we just flow.
Yeah, it was good.
It's good. Talked about wanting to get housing and
Yeah, like
just
we want a house, want to build a cult, all those things.
yeah, all the good shit.
Yeah.
It's juicy. Enjoy. All right, geez. Welcome back to the Corrective Culture Podcast. This is Friday the 17th of January, and we are in 2025, and time is flying.
Time is fine. The month's nearly done.
Yeah, the month's nearly done. We're both off to Japan. You're off on the 29th. I'm off on Wednesday.
Yeah, I'm off on the 30th. Yeah, your best snow of forever.
Dude,
Pretty well.
we're landing in, like last night they got 100 centimeters,
Wow.
and then we're landing in pretty much another like 50 to 100 centimeters
Yeah.
for 2 nights straight,
Yeah.
for 2 storms straight. Like, just, it's crazy.
Is that good? Like when it's like that? Like
Yeah.
That.
We'll
yeah.
put it this way, like, you know, when we're in New Zealand, they got like 10 centimeters and everyone's like, it's a powder day,
Yeah.
10 centimeters.
Yeah.
Like over there, it'll say 10 centimeters and you'll get 30. Like that's what happened
Yeah.
last night. They said they're going to get 10 centimeters and they got like 30 to 40.
Yeah.
So it's just a fucking snow machine.
And you don't want it snowing throughout the day though, do you? Or do you?
Yeah.
You do?
Dude, I love it.
Like for the vision?
Well, the vision's not that great, but like that's when you ride trees and stuff like that. So your vision is good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you just like cruise through the trees.
Yeah. The trees will be gnarly.
It's
That'd be-
super safe if you just go slow.
Yeah.
Like you don't, it's like my dad told me something hell smart, man. He's like, the only time I ever fell off when I was racing motorbikes was when I just went above my comfort zone.
Yeah.
Like if you just go in your comfort zone and you build your trust and your experience through the time, like you'll be fine.
Yeah, I was watching this snowboarding coach guy, and he was like, even for jumps and everything, he goes, you just start on the tiniest jump, and you just master that jump, and, then you go to the next one. And he goes, you never just jump to this big one.
Fuck no.
And he goes, and then you won't you won't push past that zone.
Yeah.
Because I just want to get good at like side hits and stuff. This one, because obviously first time I went to Queenstown, pretty rookie, and then Japan now I can just get around and not fall over and hit little side hits. But like now I never got to experience powder, so I never got to go and land into powder. So I still had the fear of landing on ice, really. It wasn't ice, but it was like, fuck, still don't want to crash, you know?
Yeah.
So I haven't hurt myself yet snowboarding. I haven't had any close calls really yet.
Well, you won't if you just take it easy. Most people I see that hurt themselves, like they're going hard. And like trees, what people don't understand is like when you, like I hit a tree with my arm and it was the first time I hit a tree and I just was going like maybe 15 kilometers an hour and I just like hit here with the tree and I was like, it nearly ripped my arm out of the socket.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, that's a good pain teacher to let me know. It's like, don't go out of your comfort zone in the trees.
So what'd you do? How'd that happen, you reckon?
I had to, so I'm just shooting through this traverse and you have to go through these 2 trees to get up to this mountain and everyone hits it with heaps of speed. But like there's a few guys who are just a lot better than me and I was going pretty slow, but I still just like, I was looking at the tree and I just went into the tree. You're not supposed to look at the tree. You're supposed to look where you're going.
Right, okay.
So I just kind of, but I mean, I still was, it wouldn't have hurt. Even if I hit my head, I wouldn't have like fully hurt myself, but it was enough to know, okay, just be careful.
Have you ever fell down any, like Jai fell down that little ravine? Have you ever fell down anything like that?
Nah, because I know the mountain pretty well, and like I don't fuck around.
Yeah.
I don't fuck around with anything that looks like it could be dangerous. Like I stick to the known path.
Yeah.
Even when we go slack country out there, it's like, yeah, you kind of just like you stay away from the tree wells. You stay away from places that look like there's bit like because you know where the onsen holes are and stuff like that. That's what Jai fell down, an onsen hole.
Yeah.
And when you actually go there, like you see it. It's right there.
Yeah.
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 There's a hole.
Yeah.
But yeah, that sounds pretty scary. How to get roped out and stuff like that.
Yeah. Fuck.
But I mean, it's not the end of the world if you fall in a small one. Like you might get wet.
Yeah.
Someone will have to pull you out.
So what's the 2025 goals for the year? What's your personal goals?
I wish I bring my personal goals. Fuck, I wrote them all down.
Did you?
Yeah, I wrote them all down the other day. I wrote down CC's goals and I wrote down my personal goals. My personal goal was like keep growing, like keep putting effort into just like learning about myself and my triggers and enjoying the process of that. Yep.
What's a couple that you've witnessed, you reckon?
Oh, every day, dude.
Yeah.
What was it?
The fitted sheets?
The fitted sheets, yeah.
Dude, how funny you were saying, because Mickey was talking about that, and Mickey, we were at his house last night. He goes, "Do you guys reckon you can help me with my fitted sheet?" He goes, I tried to do it, and then I just fucked up, and I just ended up sleeping on it without the fitted sheet on. And because my mate just got out of like a 9-year relationship, and the relationship dynamic was like she did all that. He probably didn't do any loads of washing the entire time. And so it's like I'm watching him like clean dishes after and shit, and and he's keeping his house pretty well kept too, you know what I mean? And but those little things, like it's those little jobs that it takes time just looking after yourself, let alone someone else. I don't know how someone
like
do it,
this
man.
is trigger season for me, dude, because it's like it's so fucking hot.
Yeah.
And I get thermally stressed.
Yeah.
But I was like, but obviously low hanging fruit, right?
Yeah.
I was putting the doona cover in, and I put it in sideways instead of long ways. So there's all this leftover thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck, this is fucked. Like, damn it. Because I hate doing it. That and whippersnipping, I just hate it.
Yeah, I hate doing this too.
And then, so I pulled it out and I was like, surely this is the way. And I didn't pay attention when I pulled it out because I'm in a rush.
Yeah.
I just want to get it done. Put it back in, same way. And I'm just like, fuck this. So I pulled it out and I was like, I'm done.
Yeah.
I just left it on the bed and I was just pissed off and went and smoked a bag, and then I was kind of laughing about it. And then yesterday I was walking in, I was letting Rami in, and I pushed the door across and it got stuck in between my finger got stuck in between the fly screen and the sliding door.
Oh.
I was like, fucking hell, like fully clicking. And then I look over at Jai and he's just laughing at me like, like they're the kind of things they get you. But I'm quick now to be like, that's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Like if I'm ever like caught in something, it's not for too long.
Yeah.
Like I'll generally see the humor in it like pretty quickly because it's fucking nothing serious.
Yeah,
it's just funny shit, dude.
I reckon as you were talking about the goals then, and it was I was thinking we should chuck on this Earl Nightingale thing I've been listening to. It's like 30 minutes, so we'll just find like, a few snippets of it, a couple minutes of it later.
Yeah.
But Earl Nightingale, it's pretty cool when you're talking about the goals, right? Because he goes, this is, for people listening, it's called The Stranger's Secret on YouTube. And this was the very first audio recording to ever get 1 million views in human species, which is amazing, besides music. So it was the first, someone just like a podcast, right? The very first one to get 1 million views from like 1950s or something. And you've heard it, obviously. You've heard that one? That Earl Nightingale Stranger's Secret? You would have. I've sent it to you.
Yeah, probably.
And he goes, what's the difference between... He basically broke down the stats of men. He's quoting everything to men because remember, this is 1950s, so there wasn't really women in the workforce. So he's constantly quoting men. But he goes, what's the difference to all these... Like he goes, if there's 60 men... then what at the end of, say, by the time they retire when they're 65, only I think maybe one of them or two of them or something is wealthy and financially secure and I guess rich in that sense. He goes 53 of them are broke. Basically what he means is within 2 paychecks they're out of money. And I can't remember, a couple others somewhere in between that, right? So he goes, all these guys have all these ambitions at the start, but what's the difference between these couple of guys that did it and these guys that didn't? And also, why do you see guys that they may try, like it's like they're not trying that hard and everything just comes to them, and then some people that seem like they're trying really hard but they just can't get anywhere in life and they're constantly chasing their tail. And he goes, I figured out this secret, and it's basically comes down to goals. And he goes, the success is the successful ideal of a worthy cause. I think he calls it that. So what he means by that is if what you want, moving towards that's successful. So success is the school teacher that wants to be a teacher. Success is the mother that wants to be a mother. Success, basically whatever your thing, like your intention was that, and you start moving towards that or creating that or become that's successful. And I'm like, fuck, that's so true, man. Because everything we've done in our life, we've pretty well done. But we knew what we wanted to do before it. So therefore it gets done. But you can be the really smart person. You can have academically smart. You can have it all sort of going on in that sense. But if you don't really know what you're doing or want, then you're not going to get anything done.
Yeah.
Even though you're doing a lot of shit.
Yeah.
So these people that getting up thinking you got to work till 1 a.m. To grind and do all that, we haven't done any of that shit. I'll go to fucking bed on time, you know? Plus we know it's sleep, right?
Yeah, well, if you look at life as an illusion too, then the more detached you get through meditation and stuff, you'll look at life as an illusion. And when you die, I think you'll find that you'd be like, oh my God, it's not that serious and we're just in an illusion and you can actually do what you want and you're actually writing the script of your whole life. Like if you look at your life like a movie, are you enjoying the script? Are you not? And can you change it? And I was thinking yesterday, man, I was like, what if all your shadow is like, you know, those deep parts of yourself that you're afraid of and you don't change because you're scared to do it? Like say, what's a good example? Like I want to quit my job and start this brand because that's just what's really drawing me right now. But that's like, it's super fearful. But what if you used your fear as the main thing that guides you in your whole existence? Well, how much of a different life would you have? It's like, I think you'd find who your authentic self would be because you'd be like, don't you reckon? Because everything that you want to start has a fear attached to it.
Yeah.
What if it fails?
Yeah.
Where does that even come from? Because fear isn't real. Really, you're just fearing fear. So if you really just delve into it, fuck, life becomes exciting. And I think we've been good at doing that to a certain extent. And I think we could do it even more.
Yeah.
Because think about how fearful it's been for parts of this time in the business when it's like, oh shit, like we could spend every last cent and go broke or blah, blah, blah. There's always scary times. But if you let fear guide you and you just go into it, that's where the fruits are, I reckon.
Yeah.
Same with like jiu-jitsu, fighting the scary guy.
Yeah. Doing the comp.
Yeah, doing the comp. Like that's...
Yeah, doing the comp's fearful, so do it.
Yeah. And I thought like that's the guide.
Yeah.
It's like your triggers are what really like expand your like spiritual horizon. But I think fear is what guides you in your path.
Yeah. Dad was telling me, he goes, you have this path lined out, but then, you have this path that you want but then God has a path for you. And then I was like, yeah, but I think they're the same thing. Like that path that you want, you are God.
Yeah.
And you can have that path, like assuming I'm in that deep path, like I really want to do that, and you can move towards that. It's hard to sort of describe what I'm saying, but like, yeah, like I feel like what you want is God talking through you to do what you're meant to do, Yeah. Hard bit's just organizing it all and breaking it all down. And that's what I'm trying to change for 2025 is like really structuring it a bit better. Like there's so many fucking things and where do I learn? What do I study on? What do I, like it's just constantly trying to tap into your soul and guide you to the next thing, like the next passion. I find I love doing it in regards to when I want to learn, I can think what I want to learn about and use that. Like I've been opening Shirley Sermon's book lately and just opening it up. So I was doing the flipping to the page and seeing what it shows up and then learning something from that, which has been pretty cool. But now I've actually been looking at the contents and then looking at all like, what do I want to know, and then, there's that, I want to go to that.
Yeah.
And that's it's a more enjoyable way of studying instead of starting from the start of the book on a fucking anatomy book. But anyway, back to your personal goals. What were they?
Yeah. So personal goals was
triggers.
Triggers. Delve deep into that. And the more I fucking write goals and stuff, like the more I just feel like detached from everything. Like I've got a clear north star on my compass of where I want to go. So obviously like I was thinking about what truly makes me happy. And I was like, this business truly makes me happy. Helping people truly makes me happy. So I want to continue down that path. I want to buy a house. There's all, there's the material goals as well, like buying a house for sure this year. And I know that'll just fall into place perfectly like everything else.
Yeah.
But to be honest, man, like I've got all the materials and things that I need to make me happy. Now it's more of a just sitting and being okay every day to enjoy every day. Cause like I woke up in the middle of the night with a thunderstorm the other night, and I was like, dude, I'm 35 now. 15 years I'll be 50. You know, it's like life is fleeting, and it's like, what do I truly want? How do I truly want to live this next 15 years?
Yeah.
And I was like, am I truly living true to myself? And I was like, 75%, yeah, I am.
Yeah.
And then the other 25% or whatever, I want to work on that.
Yeah.
And that's kind of my goal for the year, is like, okay, when I just bring up the fear thing, I'm like, I want to enter into those fears slightly and be like, okay, why do I fear that, and grow from that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So my, like Spirit Gym's been interesting, because it's like the biggest thing I've learned from Spirit Gym so far is like, you don't need a guru.
Yeah.
You are your guru.
Yeah.
And that's the coolest thing I've learned, is like, maybe I've been chasing someone to tell me what to do for so long, but what I'm getting a feeling of now is like, you do know what's best for you. It's deep down. And it's funny, man, I had this deep meditation once before, and I asked Ram Dass's soul, I said, Ram Dass, like, what do I do in this situation? Like, what do I do? And I just had a image of his head, and he said, you know. And that went so deep, dude. I still remember that. And I think about it all the time, and I'm like, because you know. You know deep down, because God is guiding you, and God is the higher self, and it's source. You know how you just sort of always had the feeling of like, deep, deep, deep down what's right, but sometimes there's a layer on top that won't allow you to go there, or something like that. Do you feel that? Yeah, like sometimes I have that, but we all know what we're supposed to do deep, deep down, whether it's like quit your job or whatever.
Yeah. It's like you go on a date with a chick, and straight away I know this isn't the mother of my children.
Yeah, yeah.
And like deep down, doesn't matter how kind that she is, you just fucking know. Like,
exactly. That's a great example. And some people will just go into that and because they're needy. Because
of fear,
yeah,
of
they're
being
needy
alone.
of love.
Yeah.
And I'm super needy of love, dude.
Yeah.
Fuck, it's hard, dude. When you lose your dad, or when you lose someone, and your partner's there to, tell me you're not going to be needy of love when you've gone through some traumas like that, and you kind of get lost in it and things like that. But it's cool, because it's like, that's what you want in life. You need them.
Yeah.
You need those little attachments and things like that to grow from. Because I don't think without relationship, I don't think you really can be fulfilled. Like, Into the Wild, the movie.
Yeah.
He went and he wrote, I truly believe what he wrote at the end. He's like, happiness is only true when shared. I feel like to be a monk or whatever, to just sit and find joy and peace by yourself and let go of all attachment. Like, I've thought about it a lot. Is that the right way to live this life?
Like, you mean?
Like, to sit on a mountain cross-legged and just meditate for 40 years and take vows of silence. Is that the right way to have the human experience? I don't know. Like, who guides that? And like, or is the right way to be Andrew Tate and have fucking 12 Bugattis and a yacht and just fully get lost in this human experience and enjoy the highs and the lows, I think they're the same thing.
Yeah.
It's like, don't you reckon? Like,
I guess it's it's that middle ground, balance.
Yeah, it's a middle ground, but like one doesn't exist without the other.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think deep about that shit. I like it, because it's like, at the end of the day, like, your experience is your experience, but just enjoy the humanness of it too. Like, when I don't want to be like the best at going inward and being a spiritual guy. I want to actually enjoy what I have, and that's what just lights me up.
Yeah.
What about you? What's your personal goals?
Personal goals. Well, same thing with you. Like, I'd like, at least now, moving towards that buying a house, because obviously all our money's gone back into the company and whatnot, and now it's sort of growing enough that we can take a wage that's nice. It's like you pinch yourself what you've already created. You forget. Like, the other day, someone was telling me like, we'll go and we'll do, for flight there, we'll do 6 days and we get this much a week, and I was like, fuck, man, that's. I used to do that and think that was it. Like, I used to think I'd just go grind and then pay for the house. I'm so glad we didn't do that. Like, get that house early when everyone else told us. Mum used to tell me to do that shit all the time. If we got a house, we probably wouldn't have corrective culture.
Yeah.
Because we wouldn't have been able to invest into it and
No,
take those
no
risks.
way.
The fear would have been too much.
Yeah.
So it's pretty amazing, man, like that we're both going to travel in Japan and, you know,
And have a wage coming in.
and we'll have a wage. We'll be
Yeah.
making more money than what we're spending.
Yeah.
We can travel the world now and save money,
Yeah.
which is fucking crazy.
Well, yeah, man, to be honest, like I've experienced that and it is $1 million lifestyle.
yeah.
And that's what people don't understand. Like if you can figure out a way to even earn $1,000 a week whilst not working.
Yeah.
So like, you know, join Andrew Tate's fucking e-commerce thing. Start making an income passively. Then you have true freedom. Because like $1,000 a week to me passively is worth $3,000 to $4,000 a week working because you're trading time for money. And time is the ultimate value. If you lose your time, that's what I mean. Like
Yeah.
I'm 35. Like in 15 years I'm going to be 50. Like how do I want to spend that time? It's not working for someone else.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's fucking crazy, dude.
Yeah.
It just makes so much sense to me. Like even if everything went to shit, which it won't, but like if everything went to shit, I'd figure out a way to
Oh yeah. 100%.
dude, like fucking start.
Well, there's so much, got so
Yeah.
much knowledge now that
yeah.
can fucking work with 100 online clients if you want to, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like,
exactly,
That sort of
and-
shit. But yeah, I know what you mean. It's still time for money. But yeah, there's so many good things out there, man. You can learn from so many cool people that are doing it, you know, and little courses and whatnot that show you things. And
But people don't do it.
yeah,
That's the problem.
Yeah.
It's like the ABCs of dreaming. It's like action, belief, and clarity. People get lost in one of the three. Like they're always got a good idea. It's easy to have the idea and tell people about your idea, but to actually have action and take action steps every day is where people get lost, I think.
yeah,
Yeah, and clarity, like not being exactly clear on what it's going to look like when you get there.
yeah, true.
Yeah.
And then we're like, because I read that book, Entering Her Vortex, and have you finished that yet, or you nearly?
I'm like 20 pages off finishing.
Yeah, so we're going to get him on the podcast
Yeah,
anyway. But
sick.
man, I reckon I had 100 to more. I reckon about 150 people message me about that book when I just put a couple pages up on my story of things that hit. And what I have realized is like, I do want to, like we're going to travel a lot this year, right? So, you know, we're obviously going to Japan. I go to Europe in May. I'll probably go to Bali somewhere in between that. And then Queenstown in July. And then hopefully the States at the end of the year plus whatever else, right? And I want a year of just that and just traveling while working and trying to build this into bigger and better. But after reading that book, it's like what it was when he goes into dynamic relationships and the masculine and feminine, and say when you're dealing with like your feminine relationships in your life, of that traditional, basically like if you can set your life up to be fully in that divine masculine, they call it, which just means this is your purpose, this is your path, king within that purpose and path, and knowing that sexual energy, and not any woman that doesn't align with that isn't it. You know what I mean? So you got your thing. They should multiply it. And obviously you'll provide a life that's okay. Like you can be in your feminine, you don't have to work. You know, I don't expect my future missus to work and all that sort of stuff, unless she wants to, right? But I was like, oh, okay. Like I don't, like there's been girls come into my life, and a part of me is like, I don't want a girlfriend right now. I like the feminine. It's a hard trap, because it's like you like the feminine energy. I like that like sexiness and that like fun and that humorous and that playfulness. But like I never really get too heart invested. And
We're just not ready, man.
I know.
And I think what's attractive to women in general is like just the truth.
Yeah.
Because there's so many fucking people that just bat around the bushes and just like don't be honest.
Yeah.
It's like people play these games and wear these masks and it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know where people develop that. Must be from parents or something, or they've learned from their parents. But like, we know straight away when you meet a girl and you're like, you can say that you're interested in pursuing it, but if you're actually not, they'll feel that energy.
Yeah.
And then it starts this whole thing. Like, why can't you just be like, look, I want to travel. I want to have some fun with you. Are you interested in that? And if they are, then cool. And just say like, we'll see where it goes if you really are interested in seeing where it goes. But it's
Yeah.
like, it's so easy.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
truth's good because it's like, you don't lose your power. You don't lose your power by saying that.
Yeah.
You're actually in your power.
Yeah.
And you're vulnerable too. I feel like being vulnerable is good as well. Like just
Yeah.
being like, I'm actually a little bit like traumatized from my last thing. I'm just going to, but truth, man, truth is the fucking ultimate for that shit.
Yeah, I am clear, and I don't.
Yeah, I
lead
know
them
you're
on.
good at that. Yeah.
I just say, oh, listen, I got a lot going on right now, and a part of me also knows like that whole divine thing. Like if it doesn't support this life, like if it doesn't help me with my dream, the dream is corrective culture, and like my part of that
Yeah.
is I want to connect people to their body. When I show an exercise, I want them to feel that exercise. I want them to feel it, like really connect you to your physical matter and the way you move and longevity. And that's it. Like that's the major thing that comes before family, children, everything. Like for me, you know?
Yeah, that's good. Be clear on that.
So that it has to support that. And say if I meet a girl, we go to dinner, she's like, I don't really like cooking. I'm like, fuck, well I cook, and I'm gonna if I'm gonna pay for your entire life, the thing how that can serve me is, then if I come home and dinner's ready, then I have energy to do this, which then gives you the freedom, but also helps my legacy, my dream, the part of that. So that book really cleared it up to think, doesn't matter how fucking hot she is, man. I've seen some pretty girls, you know what I mean? And it's just like, if I realize that's what it comes down to, it needs to serve that, it needs to support that. And that's the only way I think that I can ever get emotionally invested. And did we say this on the pod a couple of days ago? I reckon it's fucking through a guy's stomach. Well, for me, I actually reckon. That's all cliche, but fuck, I reckon there is something to that, man. Chick starts handing you some meals. Shit hits different, eh?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like
100%.
It can be the sex, can be all the other shit, but
Yeah.
that's where it's like, this has a service. This helps my life. Sex doesn't help it. So you can get sex whenever you want. There's fucking plenty of girls in your DMs and shit for that. That's not it. It's those little things, and it's like the healthy food. It's the health. Like I realize that's it.
Yeah, well, something of substance, eh?
Yeah.
I really don't respect it anymore. Like a really good, shiny looking diamond, like a hot girl. I'm just like,
you can see through it a bit now. Eh?
You're like, what else are you going to bring to the table? Like, because looks fade, man. Looks fade, like especially for, men and women. It's like over time they're going to fade. So it's like, what's real? And I think like people, there's obviously some truth to it. Like you are attracted to better looking people. That's the truth of it.
Yeah, that'll get you through the door.
Yeah, that'll get you through the door. But the surface, then after that, it's like,
Yeah.
Okay, like sex is maybe 1 hour a day if you're really into it. And then where's the rest? Like the other 23 hours a day or whatever it is, 14 hours that you're spending with someone. Like, are you cooking?
Yeah.
Are you creating a life together? And then kids come in, and kids are like the ultimate. Like, I've seen Cody was staying with me recently, and he's got a kid. I'm like, man, if there's no teamwork,
yeah, how could you?
it's gonna be a problem.
Yeah.
Like, and I feel really sorry for people who raise kids alone, because one, the kids mainly going to be with that energy. It's hard for a female to have the masculine energy as well. And it's hard for a male to have the female energy, the nurturing side.
Yeah.
So it's like that dynamic is how kids, I've seen it in people and women that I've met that have been raised properly with mum and dad, how they have the balance of just, they don't have the fear of being left or the fear of you leaving them. And I found that really interesting. And I'm like, is that because they were raised in a wholesome family that made them feel safe?
Yeah.
Probably,
yeah. Yeah. I saw this thing. It was something like, it sounds brutal, but it's like a guy's things about us, like even subconsciously, but like getting the girl to sort of like sleep together, right? And then a girl's thing is keeping the guy after they sleep together.
Yeah.
Because think about, man, like reflecting on that, you're like, fuck, that is so true.
Yeah.
Like, because from a guy's point of view, it's sort of like your legacy, deep down, you're the mother of your children. So say it's like sort of almost like trial and error, like choosing that girl, like, oh, this is now my girl amongst all the other girls. This is my girl. And I choose you and amongst all the others, you know? And that's what I mean. Like if say, and then one's like, oh, I don't really cook, I'm not into that. Straight away you're like, oh, okay, like I'm going to choose that over all the others. Even if you sleep together and you can still like them, you can still hang out with them, you can still want to spend time with them, but it's like locking it down for the rest of your life. It's like, nah, like it's just,
it's kind of a scary feeling when naturally you're a male, an alpha male who wants to procreate. And like I feel like it's the balance, like Paul, I've talked about it with Paul the other day, is like it's a balance of the centaur. It's like you could be in your heart as much as you want to be and be the most loving, beautiful male. And then if you're integrated, there's a whole bull that's down below that just wants to fuck. Like he told this story about how there's a daddy bull and a baby bull, and they go up the top of the paddock, and the little bull goes to the daddy bull, I want to go and fuck that little bull over there. And the daddy bull goes, son, let's go fuck all of them. It's the most brutal thing. But it's like, that's what the bull is. So if you're a centaur and you're like the beast down below the waist, and then you're in your heart and your love up the top, it's like that's an integrated alpha male.
Yeah.
But you've got to learn how to harness the two.
Yeah, well, lust will destroy man.
Desire.
Yeah, like, and I'm moving towards that. Like there's a million girls out there. There's always some hot chick. Like it's always that, and it would get old. You know, it does. Like you start to you realize if it pulls you off that path a little bit when you should be doing this, then that's where one of those spots that lust is interfering, especially if it's taking the piss. Now, obviously, sometimes you just need to hang out with a girl and just get a bit of a stress relief, and if it's a mutual thing, then it's all good. But there's extremes to that, you know. There's definitely extremes to that. As pretty well as soon as you start lying.
That's
when it's wrong.
100%. Yeah. Honestly, man, my dad nailed it. It's like truth, love, humility over everything.
Yeah.
It's like if you're just truthful, no matter if it's scary or fearful or whatever, like the truth always sets you free.
Yeah.
I don't care what anyone says. Like you're lying to someone, like fucking tell the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you change your life like that.
And the goal is, so Jake and I have this dream of like, we want to buy a house, right? But we don't want to buy like some sort of shitty house. Like I want to live near the beach. And I've now realized that I want to live really close to the beach, like less than a minute walk type shit. So we're like, all right, how sick would it be if we can get an older house close by the beach, knock it down and build a duplex and live that life where you still get your own space, but you live next to your friends, and then eventually all the friends can move in around the street, right? And this makes it so much easier financially, like get $1 million each. All of a sudden that's really good compared to $1 million house. You know what I mean? Like it just changes it.
Yeah.
And the fact that the business can pay it.
Yeah.
So it's something that the business can pay for both of our houses, and it's just nice.
Yeah.
You know, we can still go traveling and that's still gonna get paid.
For sure.
And
that's the goal.
That's the goal. So that would be like a sort of 2026-ish goal. So the goal basically for this year for me is like, hey, now it's all set up a bit. Now I want to start saving some money and making some money. And that's the goal. So obviously we got Enrich and the products coming out, and just constantly we want to get our app rolling.
Yeah.
So getting workout videos and stretches and tissue work into our Cleanse app, which will be Corrective Culture Hub app. So basically you have all the recipes, but we have a workout of the week. We'll have all exercise and stuff, because so many people want that. And besides your basic PT shit, I know it's valuable because you can't get that. Like if you're doing a basic PT thing, it's not the same. The details aren't the same. You'll learn how to really move well and just look after yourself for the rest of your life. So that's what we're really pumped for, and just get that rolling and just keep building the community. And get heaps of merch out.
Yeah. I feel like it's just like, it's just patience, eh? It's like we're just, because like the ultimate goal is to help as many people as possible and create cool shit. Like it just feels natural to want to create cool shit, you know? Like I see like StreetX doing some cool shit, and I'm just like, fuck, that's awesome.
Yeah. Fun stuff.
Yeah, just fun stuff. Like that's what it's all about, enjoying the journey and helping people along the way. And for some reason, we're just building a dream team as we go.
And we might throw a little oyster party when we do it in Rich, eh? That'd be fun.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty fun.
Yeah.
At the park?
Yeah, I had like a wholesome like...
You imagine like down the beach or something.
Yeah, like a wholesome oyster party, and then you're like... yin and yang, eh?
Yeah, like, so I was like, we were talking about, we could like hire out somewhere nice, you know, dress up nice, like put on some drinks, like good clean drinks and lots of oysters, and like just invite just all the girls and guys and that, and just have a little like launch party for Enrich, and it would just be fun anyway, like just providing that for all the crew. And then Jake was like, oh yeah, like so down, what'd you say, down at the
Good
Cardi's or the beach or something like that? And then I just imagine like, oh, so we get like 300 oysters and put them on the park bench. And like,
Everyone just slaps.
yeah,
them.
just like after you have like 4 oysters, you're done. And then,
Oh fuck.
but we'll see. You know,
Yeah,
it'd be pretty fun.
I know. Enrich is coming. It's
Yeah.
not far off now.
It's pretty cool because it's Tasmanian oysters. So it's, you know, we were going for this Irish one, but we found a better source and
Yeah, just closer and easier.
yeah, and no one's done it. No one's done oyster
Nah.
captures yet. They're out there, but they're all Chinese oysters. So you don't want Chinese oysters because they're full of heavy metals and they're farmed.
Yeah.
This is like grown in the actual ocean. So they're not fed food. It's eating the ocean food. And fuck, they work, man. Like you have 4 of those capsules and you wake up with the hardest motherfucking thing.
Yeah, the hardest cock you ever seen.
But it does work like that,
Yeah.
man. So that's a sign of health and fertility and
Fully.
testosterone. So and immunity and like basically it's nature's source of zinc and the highest source of zinc you can get. Everyone's low on zinc. You need zinc for your immunity. You need zinc for your skin. You need zinc for your hair, and you need zinc for fertility.
Yeah.
So it's just a huge thing. So I have oysters twice a week lately, and fuck, that's even almost too much. Like
Yeah, for sure.
a dozen oysters a week is pretty
Yeah.
good. But
Yeah.
but just having those capsules on standby for those days you don't have oysters near, you just pop
Yeah.
some and I feel it. Yeah, the boys
dude,
have
that
too.
that and King mixed
I know,
together.
imagine
like,
the 2 of them.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Well, really what it is, it's the 2 most nutrient-dense foods in the world.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool.
Because we're not huge on supplements, but man, if you're going to supplement whole foods and the most nutrient dense food on the planet,
Yeah.
makes fucking perfect sense.
Yeah, well, it's just the food, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And our capsules
100%.
are just oyster. There's no fillers. Like people
No.
add turmeric and shit to make it sound good, but I'm
Yeah,
like,
I
you're just
know.
filling it with fucking turmeric. Like,
Yeah.
I can get turmeric
and
for
to
$4.
make money too. Like it is expensive making oysters.
Yeah, it is
But it's like
expensive. It's way
Peop-
less margin
People
than King
like
and that.
add their friggin' magnesium in and all this kind of stuff.
Sounds good, but it cheapens it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it does. And at the end of the day, let's not ever do anything to make money. Let's do it because it's like the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, as long as it serves people, right? Because we're having it anyway. All our products we're having. So
Yeah.
let's just have it.
I know that. I feel like everything we've done so far has been because we want it.
Yeah. Like cacao. Like we
100%.
don't even promote the cacao, but like fuck, I go through cacao and like
Yeah.
gelatin. Like gelatin's so good. I put it on Honey's food.
Yeah,
I put it
yeah.
like I have it. Just gelatin's so good for the skin,
It'd
man.
be sick to do a collagen too. Just, I mean, it's the same shit. Turns to
Same
collagen
shit,
in your
yeah.
gut, but I like being able to put collagen in my smoothies.
Yeah.
But yeah, gelatin just thickens the smoothie a little bit, but
Yeah.
it's whether you like that or not.
Yeah. I think just because you got to cut it with acid. That's why. Cindy,
is that why
Cindy
Cindy
doesn't do
does-
it.
okay.
Yeah. So it's just
Yeah.
gelatin
Yeah.
because there's no organic collagens. I think.
Nah.
No, because of the acid cutting process. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. As soon as you synthesize something, hey, it just takes the value out of it a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Horizon. Oh yeah, the goals. So you got that. I'm going to launch Bodyworkers University eventually.
Yep.
It was meant to be December. Now it's probably going to be April, maybe a little bit later. It's just so big, man. It's
Yeah,
so
it's a lot of
fucking.
work.
It is, and I can sometimes get trapped thinking, is it enough? Is it enough? And I realize it's so enough for the person that doesn't know anything. Like I keep using Aiden, my roommate, as a reference point, and
He actually knows a bit too.
he knows a bit, sorry, but
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you know, fresh.
Yeah.
Like,
He's-
he,
I
when
mean,
he moved in, didn't know.
He
what
would be the
tibia-
first to say he's pumped to.
Oh, he loves it.
Yeah,
Man.
he mentioned it the other day.
Yeah.
Like, I can't
Well,
wait
I actually
to-
got a course in there teaching him the scapulohumeral muscles.
Yeah.
Sorry, scapular thoracic muscles. So the muscles that attach the scapula to the rib cage.
Yeah.
When he doesn't know anything. So I got a whole hour
Yeah.
video basically of teaching him that as one of the courses. But filmed the adductors and that yesterday, and I'm loving it because before I teach on it, it lights my soul up. Not even all that. It lights my soul up because I'm studying and learning shit. And it just makes me like a sick. I shouldn't tell you. I don't know if this is too tech for the podcast, but so I was reading up on the bicep, right? And you know how the one of the heads of the bicep connect to the coracoid process. Is with coracoid process for people listening, that's at the top of the scapula, top of the shoulder blade, and that's where the pec minor also attaches. And I always wondered, okay, like the pec minor attaches to the rib cage, so obviously if that contracts, it can pull the scapula over the top of the rib cage and tip that shoulder forward because the rib cage is fixed. But the bicep is also attached to that, but it's not fixed because it's attached to the humerus. You know what I mean? So it would pull the elbow up towards the scapula before pulling the scapula over the rib cage.
Yeah.
And she was like, it can contribute to that. And basically, if you get that scapula and you posteriorly tip it, like if you put that scapula, tip it flush on the rib cage, so people listening like grabbing the shoulder and sort of sliding it back and making that shoulder blade flush in the rib cage so it doesn't stick out off the rib cage. If you see their elbow bend during that, so say you fix their scapula and their arm bends, you know that their bicep is contributing to that anterior tipping.
Yeah, it makes perfect
Which is
sense.
crazy. And I was like, that makes sense anatomically. And I'm like, but it's that little extra,
detail.
man, that
Yeah,
I'm
I
like
know.
now getting into. I'm like,
Yeah, that's
but
cool.
there's no
That'll
way
never end.
It'll never end,
Nah.
dude. And
That's
I'm
what's
like,
fun.
I'm sitting there and my heart's like, I got this book and it's what is it? Movement impairment disorders of the cervical and extremities.
Yeah.
Sounds like the most boring book in the world. And I told Ryan, she's like, oh yeah, that sounds cool, joking. And I was like, my heart was like, fuck yeah, I can't wait to like see what I learned from this. Like, it's like a high,
Yeah.
I've been reading it before bed and shit. And it's something I couldn't have read when I started the journey because it's too tech.
Yeah.
And it's a slow read. It's like that inferior angle from there moves superiorly. But then if you go 2 inches distally, then that does this. And it's a slow read because as you're reading something like that, you stop and you got to think about your brain and then you got to then move on. And anything I don't understand, any word or whatever, I stop and what does this mean? Go to Google, go to ChatGPT. So I make sure I never like skip past anything I don't understand. I always stay on it until I figure it out. And I feel like that helps a lot. But yeah, basically she was just saying heaps how all these lumbar spine problems are more so movement going into the spine and not going through the hips and the pelvis. So that's why you need this good range of motion in the pelvis. That's why you need to do range of motion because then the limbs can swing through space without the torque going up the spine. And she goes, and it's mainly it's rotational problems. So it's not about the two quads being tight. It's about the one quad being tighter than the left during the hip going back into extension, creating a torsion. So she goes, rotation will always do the most damage because it will shear.
Yeah.
Compared to the flexion extension won't shear as
it
much.
does make so much sense, eh?
So she goes, all these problems, even the knee problems, everything, then we always train them in the sagittal plane when we rehab them, which means forward and back, but it's generally a rotational problem. It's a transverse plane problem. This all comes back down to little transverse plane problems going up and down the chain.
Yeah.
Which is, and just teaching people how to move better. So they're not taking all the movement into the spine.
Yeah.
Because you can see it, and sometimes people walk, their spine will just shear left and right.
Yeah.
Really unstable.
Yeah.
And that could be glute medius not supporting the pelvis and not stabilizing that lumbar spine. So it's just
dude, it's
cool.
I was skipping the other day and I looked at my pelvis and my pelvis, because my leg doesn't take much load on the right, like my pelvis was just going like Trendelenburg.
Oh, really?
Trendelenburg. Yeah. Trendelenburg. Sorry, that way.
Yeah.
Couldn't stop it.
Yeah.
Like activated my glute med, everything.
Didn't change it.
Doesn't change it, man. It's just like when I start to load this right leg and I was like, fuck, that's crazy. Like I can't run without a faulty pattern now.
Yeah.
And I was trying so hard to consciously like hold it up, wouldn't fix it.
Wonder if there's a leg length discrepancy.
Nah.
No.
I've measured my leg heaps of times. And yeah, I'm always balancing out my pelvis. Like I know my body pretty well now. But I just can't load that fucking leg.
Yeah. Trendelenburg, for people listening, is a lateral pelvic tilt. So where the pelvis on one side drops down.
Yeah.
So you could see it when sometimes people walk where their pelvis will just drop like up and down and not stay level. So whenever pelvis drops down like that, the spine's above it. So it's going to side bend the spine. And if that happens every step over the course of whatever, a year or two, that's it's just micro trauma that turns into macro trauma.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. SI joint problems.
Yeah.
Lumbar spine problems.
Yeah.
Everything.
And I've also been researching what pulls, like I'm trying to find lever pulls that pull the head of the femur back into the socket, and glute medius stuff. So Aiden, my roommate, was complaining about his hip, and I just did a glute medius strength test, and I gave him some glute mid stuff, and he messaged me, texted me like yesterday. He goes, man, it's so much better. He goes, it's crazy. Like he's been doing like over the top stretching and tissue work. He just loves that stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm like, nah, dude, you got to do the strength work. Like
Strength
he's complaining about his
gives
calves, how tight they are, and I looked at him, they're just tiny. I'm like, oh, you need to strengthen your calves.
Yeah, and
like,
strength gives length.
Yeah. So yeah, because what it will do, if you had a hip problem, most people's hip problems are the femur goes forward, medial, which means to the middle, and then superior, which means up. Like superior means up, inferior means down. So it'll go anterior forward, up, and then and it will either rotate to the middle or it will just translate to the middle, like slide to the middle. And basically, if you think about it, the glute medius, those posterior fibers, are behind it. So that will literally pull the femur back and stop it going forward as much.
Yeah.
Assuming there's not a twist in the pelvis jamming that
Yeah.
femur forward into the acetabulum, the hole for the femur. So basically, that's why glute medius stuff is important to do. It feels good whenever you strengthen it too.
Yeah.
Like it always feels good. It's like one of those things. And I was looking at the shoulder one, and like infraspinatus and posterior delt. It's good for the humerus sliding back.
Pulling it back.
Yeah, but I'll get to that part in the book soon because she's the one that has that 1/3 of the acromion.
Yep.
The humerus should be in front of the acromion. So
Yep.
we'll see what little details she has
Sick.
in that.
Keen to hear.
Yeah, it's sick.
Cool.
Um,
I might let's call it because I want to go get a beef stick from Greengrocer before I take this client.
nice. I'm gonna. Sweet, that flew by. All right,
I know.
well, this podcast is sponsored from. What's it sponsored by today?
King and Queen.
King and Queen.
Yeah.
Sponsored by King and Queen and the Parasite Cleanse. Parasite Cleanse popping off. I'm nearly 3 weeks into it or something.
Nice. That flew by.
I know, right? Fucking flew by. Feeling good. Eating good. Getting into really short cooked stocks.
Yeah.
Podcast hasn't released
Doing
yet of that
some
one,
today.
but
Also Buko today.
nice.
Yeah.
Steak, chicken soups, all the things. So really get those short cooked stocks in and seal that gut lining and just get super anti-inflamed and conditioned for Japan snowboarding.
That's Osh.
That's Osh. Thank
Much
you.
love. Thank you.